Hey, what up, guys? It's Dave. So, first and foremost, thank you everybody for the 1,000 subscribers. We've been grinding it out. We have been grinding it out, and I want to thank everybody for sticking with me. And I'm always trying out new stuff, so let me know if you guys like this. I want to crank it up to 2 videos a week. Let's see. So I was thinking one technique video and one video like this in like a podcast style, where you don't have to look at the floating head. You can, listen to it in your car or whatever. Uh, you're not missing anything on the screen. But anyway, I wanted, but guys, let me know in the comment section if that's something that you want. You want that extra video that's just this podcast style, or you just want 2 technique videos a week, or so guys, I keep getting this question, so I just wanted to field it. What is the best martial art for self-defense for men and women? What's the best martial art for self-defense? Let's talk about a lot of the suggestions that I get, and other arts that are taken up and I think people waste their time with. I know a lot of you are going to think I'm going to say jujitsu is probably the best, but stick around to the end. So, a lot of arts that people waste their time with. Boxing. When people think of self-defense, I don't know why, but they always turn to boxing first. And I have no idea. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love boxing. I just watched Jake Paul knock out Perry. I mean, that was a pretty good fight. Shout out to Jake Paul, knocking out tomato cans, getting a paycheck this early in your career. Awesome work, man. Awesome work, my man. But boxing as a self-defense art, nah. I think it's great for, 2 guys in a ring with a commission and a referee and rules and people outside the ring ready to break it up if it gets crazy in there. Yeah, boxing's great. Boxing is awesome. But for street application, I don't think it has a lot of transferable skills. Will you learn how to throw a good punch? Absolutely. Doesn't have a lot in there for when somebody grabs you. If you get grabbed in a boxing ring, the referee is probably going to break it up. You get grabbed in the street, the fight's still going. So, boxing, probably not so much. Some people turn to karate. A lot of people tell me, hey, I took karate when I was a kid. I'm a black belt by the age of 12. And I talked to a lot of old school karate guys. A lot of old school karate guys can't really do much anymore, but they talk about it from back in the day. And back in the day, they said it was so hard. The training was so tough. And you could start out with a room full of people. In about 2 months, you're down to like 4 or 5 guys still training. And this is back when karate was hardcore training. It was tough. And then these karate guys, they decided, hey, look, we're not making any money. Yeah, we're turning out great karate guys. We're turning out awesome karate guys. They will punch a hole in your brother. But we're not keeping the lights on with 4 or 5 killers, and 3 of them can't even pay their gym dues. You know, we're not gonna make it. So guess what? They gotta get little Timmy and little Josie in there. They gotta fill up the room with these kids, and these parents paying their money. They want to see the belts, and they don't want to see their kid getting tortured through hard training. Yes, that hard training will produce an amazing karate guy, but parents don't want to see that. The kids don't want to go through it. Honestly, I wish they would. Childhood obesity is an epidemic in America, but I don't want to do it. Then from there, of course, the parents, they want to see the belts. Where's his belt? Belt, 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 belt. And a lot of karate guys like, hey, I see another path to make some money. They jump on there. They say, okay, let's charge them for a belt test. Let's charge them for the belt. Let's charge them for the uniform. And next thing you know, you got 13-year-old black belts. 12 and 13-year-old black belts. Like, and forgive me if you keep hearing my ringtone. But from there, what you get is 12 and 13-year-old black belts. Which sucks. It really sucks, because now a lot of people treat the black belt as the finish line. So you give this kid a black belt, they're not too incentivized to keep training. And at 12 and 13, they're starting to get distracted. They're starting to notice the girl. They're starting to notice the boy. They're starting to get ready for prom. They got the video game. You always got battle the video game. Like, they're just too distracted right now. Just doesn't work out. So as far as karate as a martial art, maybe back in the day when it was hardcore, and you chased off most people because their training was so tough. Maybe back then, but karate as it is now that it lost its way, it's not gonna work for you in a street fight. It just won't. A lot of people turn to kickboxing, and you'll see a lot of females in kickboxing. They'll be like, oh, I want to defend myself, but I don't want to get too banged up. They'll turn to kickboxing, and they'll go somewhere, and they'll punch a pad, they'll punch a bag. The guys and the girls, they'll go somewhere, punch a bag, punch some pads, and they think they can fight. That's just not it, guys. Again, it has a lot of similar problems that boxing has. I mean, boxing has pretty much no system for the grab, but at least like boxing systems like Muay Thai, they have a clinch system, not really grabbing. They have a clinch system, right? They can grab on and start kneeing the guy to death. That works. That's cool. Not an extensive clinch system. And also, I think it gives a lot of people a lot of delusion on how dangerous their hands are, just like boxing. Because think about it like this. You and this guy at the bar, it's always at the bar. You ever notice that? Like, what does this work on the guy at the bar? I'm like, I would stay out of bars if it's that dangerous. I've been to a lot of bars. It's not really Unless you got double D breasts, nobody's bothering you. Nobody's really paying you any mind. So you're not going to get in a fight at the bar. And if it's that dangerous, just stay home. But if we're talking about kickboxing and boxing, there's similar problems. They all live in this fantasy land where every fight starts neutral. Like, that guy's in his corner, this guy's in his corner. Bruce Buffer says, let's get it on, and y'all come out. Like, and it's 50-50, it's square, it's one-on-one. I get to wrap my hands. I can say, hold on, Mr. Man, let me wrap my hands. Hang on. So we're doing 3 threes. Are we doing 12 rounds? All right, is unified rules? What kind of gloves are we wearing? Like, no. That's not how it goes in a self-defense situation. And never have I been to a kickboxing school or a boxing school that pushes people to condition their hands. Never. I've never seen a kickboxing school or a boxing school, and karate doesn't do it anymore, that pushes people to condition their hands. Guys, you got to ask yourself, why do you wrap your hands? Why do you go to a kickboxing school, boxing school, or anywhere, and the first thing they tell you is wrap your hands, wrap your hands, wrap your hands? Why? Because you're about to hurt yourself. Because you're probably going to hurt yourself. You're probably going to sprain your wrists. You're going to bust a knuckle. Yeah, because nobody pushes you to condition your hand. If they asked you to condition your hands, it would turn into that hard karate we were talking about, and everybody would quit. If I asked you to hit your hand against a makiwara board. And if you don't know what a makiwara board is, it's pretty much a wooden plank with some cord around it, and you just punch it and condition your hand. So I don't think people realize when you actually throw a good punch and you hit somebody, it bothers you. I'm not talking about those windmill punches you threw in middle school when you got to a fight on the playground. I'm talking about an actual good punch, and you turn your hips and you kick off the ground and you generate that power and you actually connect with the guy. You're probably going to hurt yourself. And that's why they tell you to wrap your hands. But nobody conditions their hands. So when you're in a self-defense situation and you don't have time to wrap your hands and you throw that punch, you're probably going to end up hurting yourself. So those are two similar problems. And like I said, it also creates a delusion. A delusion that you can defend yourself. It gives that female a delusion that, hey, I can knock out this 220-pound guy. No, you can't. Not even an untrained 220-pound guy. You're not going to knock him out. He's going to hit you twice and the fight's over. All right? You're not going to knock him out. Maybe you'll clinch him and get in a couple good knees before he picks you up and slams you. But, guys, it creates a delusion. So, that begs the question. What does the 100-pound girl learn? Kickboxing doesn't work. Karate doesn't work anymore. Karate doesn't work anymore. Kickboxing's a lie. Muay Thai's a lie. At least for self-defense. If you're trying to go to the K1 tournament, cool. It's great. But as far as the self-defense situation, probably not the best. So what does the 100-pound girl do? She can't knock him out. So what can she do? I think she has to survive in that clinch. So let's talk about stuff that works a little better. Surviving in the clinch grab realm. Alright? Because let's be real. Every fight you've seen went to a grab. Right? The two guys grabbed each other. Maybe one or two punches and then you're grabbing. Then all your boxing and Muay Thai and your kickboxing and your karate, it goes out the window as soon as somebody grabs somebody else. All the striking is gone. So what do? You need an art that talks about the grab. Judo is heavy in grabbing. The fight begins with a grab. Personally, I think judo is great for a combative situation. Especially if we're talking about a 100-pound girl. She's going to need a lot of leverage. She's going to need a lot of off balance to get this 220-pound guy off of his feet. And judo is all about that from day one. When you walk in the dojo, they're going to be talking about kazushi, off balancing this guy, sweeping this guy, getting him off his feet, throwing from a forward motion, throwing from a backwards motion, foot sweeps that require no strength, no athleticism, nothing. I think judo is an awesome martial art. But here's the issue. Somebody's going to say, well, what about a weapon? Yes, bad guys walking around with weapons. You know, they don't. The guy at the gas station doesn't background check you when he sells you that $5 knife. You know, yeah. You can just walk to the gas station, get a $5 knife, and start messing with people. You know, so what do? Does judo deal with knives and sticks and machetes and guns? Sometimes. Sometimes you'll find an instructor that has a night of the week. Like, hey, let's throw this guy with a knife in his hand. Hey, let's wrist lock this guy with the knife in his hand. You know, let's get this gun out of this guy's hand. But is that the primary focus of that martial art? No. It's not. That is not the primary focus. So, what do? What art focuses on a knife, a stick, a club, a gun, Kali, or a screamer? Whatever you want to call it. Kali, day one. You're in there. You're talking about knife disarms. You're talking about sticks. You're talking about if both of you have a knife, if he has the knife, if you got the knife. Getting the knife away from him. You're talking about a clinch situation. You're brushing on takedowns. Kali is an awesome art for self-defense. Especially when bad guys that have knives, that have sticks. And it may be something that you have to deal with. You know, you're fighting and the fight's going good. This guy's getting desperate. He picks up the bottle. You gotta disarm this guy. You gotta disarm him. You guys are always getting in fights at the bar. You better be ready for a guy to grab a bottle. Guy could fit a asp in his pocket. He pulls out that collapsible baton. You gotta be ready. The guy walking with his cane just starts swinging it at you. You gotta be ready. Can you take it from him? Can you use your cane effectively? If your knee is hurt, can you use your cane effectively? Kali talks about that. Kali talks about all of these things. But here's the problem. Kali, not a very big emphasis on groundwork. You see, all these arts that I've discussed, besides judo, don't really talk about the ground. Judo, they have Newaza, which is groundwork. And it's pretty much, from what I understand, it's pretty much just talking about if the throw doesn't work. Okay, here's Jujikatami, an armbar. Here's Gyaku Udegarami, the Kimura. Here's Udegarami. Here's Marote Jimi. A choke. So they talk about groundwork as like a secondary. Like, okay, you didn't knock him out with the throw. Here's a choke. Here's an armbar. It's not really treated primary. It's like, hey, we're going to be here a while. Let's get really, really good at the ground. And I know y'all thinking like, oh, here comes the jiu-jitsu guy. About to tell us how great jiu-jitsu is. Yes, jiu-jitsu is great. But I'm not. But I'm telling you, hear me out. Hear me out to the end. Hear me out to the end. I'm going to tell you what is the best martial art. Yes, jiu-jitsu ground, which is both for men and women. A 100-pound girl use jiu-jitsu. Absolutely. Do it all day long. I've trained them all day long. Guys, I've trained police officers. I've trained armed forces members. I've trained nightclub bouncers that like to be called doormen. Doormen. They don't like bouncer anymore. They like doormen because the bouncer gets you sued. The doorman is a professional. So I've trained a lot of doormen. And guys, I can tell you for a fact that the technique is going to work whether you're 250 pounds or you're 100 pounds. It's going to work. That Kimura is still going to work. That triangle choke is still going to work. And guys, if you check the FBI website, we're talking about females. Half of the time in an aggravated assault, according to the FBI website, when females get assaulted, it's in their own house. But half the time by people they know. Those are the numbers. Those are the numbers. So, yeah. So, if I'm in my own house with somebody I know, I'm not in a defensive position. I'm probably not even standing on my feet. I've invited this person in. I'm probably sitting on the couch. I'm probably laying down somewhere. We probably had a couple beers. And next thing I know, they're on top of me. Well, my Kali is out the window. My judo is 50%. Well, probably not even 50%. Maybe at 20%. Like, maybe my Newaza can't get me out of this particular situation. Your kickboxing, your boxing, your karate went way out the window a long time ago. Your Kali has no answer for it. So you better have some jujitsu when you're walking home with your groceries, man, woman, or whatever. When you're walking home with your groceries and somebody tackles you, again, your judo is meh, your Kali's gone, your kickboxing gone, your boxing's gone. You better have some jujitsu, daddy, or you're in trouble. Everybody talks about, I would never go to the ground. Don't learn jujitsu. I would never go to the ground. What happens when you don't have a choice? What happens when you don't have a choice but to go to the ground? We talked about multiple opponents. If two guys jumped on me, if they jumped on me, first degree black belt, if two guys running here right now want to put me on the ground, I'm going on the ground. All right? But what happens on that ground, it's up to me. I know we make the analogy a lot of the times about that I'm a shark and the ground's my ocean, that lame shit. But it's kind of true. Like, again, if two guys run in here and want to put me on the ground and I break one of their arms, well, it's like a shark biting off your arm, right? You jumped on that shark in the ocean and he bit your arm off. It's the same thing with a jiu-jitsu guy. Two guys jump on me, I break the first guy's arm and get back up. Well, now it's 1-on-1 now, ain't it? Well, if he pulls out a knife, jiu-jitsu's got a little something for that. But again, that's not the primary focus. Again, that guy's getting desperate. He sees his buddy on the ground screaming in pain because you just ripped his arm off. Now maybe he wants to pull out the knife. So what do? Guys, this whole time I discussed the strengths and weaknesses of all martial arts, including jiu-jitsu. I didn't just jump on here and make a commercial for jiu-jitsu. So guys, what is the most effective martial art? Guys, that art is going to be a combination of Kali and jiu-jitsu. You're going to need a combination of Kali and jiu-jitsu. Kali is that exclamation point on the end of whatever else, on the end of your jiu-jitsu. All right? Jiu-jitsu, not a bunch of answers for the knife. Kali, not a lot of answers for getting grabbed, getting taken to the ground, getting caught in an off-guard situation. But if we marry those two, we've got something. So, I'm not talking about MMA in the sense of kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, karate and jiu-jitsu, wrestling and jiu-jitsu. I'm talking about becoming a mixed martial artist with Kali and jiu-jitsu. That is the art for self-defense. You're prepared for the knife, the club. You're prepared for striking. You're prepared for groundwork. Because remember, with Kali, it's the 100-pound girl. She's still not going to knock out Brock Lesnar because she knows Kali. Brock's still going to get on top of her. He's still going to get her down. That's when her jiu-jitsu kicks in. She better have some sweeps. She better have some sweeps. She better have some joint locks. She better have some chokes. well, she might be in trouble. And vice versa, once she gets it back to the feet. This guy's, maybe he's a little more desperate. He doesn't want to run away. Now he pulls out the baton. Now he pulls out the club. Now her Kali kicks in. Maybe she can pull her knife and actually know how to use it. And actually know where to deploy it from. A lot of people walk around with knives on them, but the knife is in plain view. And you would think, hey, maybe that's a deterrent. No, I mean, if I want you bad enough, I just have to game plan how I'm going to get you now. That's not going to deter me if I see your knife or your gun. Like, that's not going to deter me. It's like, okay, now I got to throw a cup of hot coffee in his face while we're at the gas station. Like, it's not going to make me leave you alone. It's not a shield. So guys, if you want to defend yourself, that's the most effective. Invest your time in Kali and Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu, depending on who you train with, you're going to get the judo throws. Kali, you're going to get the knife work, the force multiplier work, and the empty hands work. Jiu-Jitsu, you get the groundwork, joint manipulation, strangles. Kali, you'll get a couple more takedowns. And you'll get to learn how to use your weapon effectively. So guys, that's the perfect martial art for the streets. A marriage of Kali and Jiu-Jitsu. Guys, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Dave. Peace.